Hello and welcome to another episode of Workplace Wizards podcast. This is episode number 27, Self-Improvement Continued. I'm your host, Arnell Smalls.
And I'm Gavin Wong.
Okay, that was really delayed.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and continue. So last episode, we were talking about self-improvement and just the emotional intelligence of self-improvement and how we can help better ourselves because of the self-awareness. So if you know a little bit more about how you deal with your own emotions and how those emotions can affect and uh, how they affect in other people in your workplace environment. So Gavin, you had something to say earlier about that. What was that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we need to improve the quality of the Wi-Fi over in the US of A, but we'll get there. You're going to try and blame my Wi-Fi, aren't you?
Yes, it's definitely your Wi-Fi.
You look fantastic over here. But no, the improving thing is interesting because I think I like our conversation last time about looking in ourselves inwards to decide actually, because some people don't want to improve, they're quite happy where they are, or they don't care. But actually, the people that are really self-aware will often make that decision to be better. And I remember over the years, I've tried many times, and I've bought loads of books to try and improve myself. But actually, it's quite difficult. It's not that easy. You've got to work at it, and so I think really, there's something about wanting to improve,
Right.
knowing how to improve is probably the more crucial question, I think.
Well, like we talked about, we talked about earlier episode of if you go to school in America, they're teaching you the 3 R's. That reading, writing, and arithmetic. I guess they didn't teach spelling in that, but what they didn't teach was that fourth R, and that's how do we remember? How do we recall? How do we retain? And we were speaking before, and we're both studying and listening to podcasts on who?
Jim Kwik.
Jim Kwik. Jim Kwik is helping people with, basically brain train. And he's helping individuals learn how to recall, retain, and remember things. And it's definitely been a benefit to me, and it helps me reading books. Now I can read a book, read a couple chapters, and I can definitely recall and retain the information that I read from those chapters because of the different strategies I've used. And just with remembering names and remembering, how to do presentations, he's taught me so many different tricks of the trade of how to do that. Well, what about you, Gav?
Yeah, well, I love that. I've only just started getting into that because for me, that would be quite important about how, particularly things like reading, how to recall information. Because I often will read a page, particularly if you've got strategic documents at work, and I could read it 3 or 4 times and happen to keep reading it over and over again, and it's not going into my head. So finding ways of actually making that stick will be really useful. But also what I like about Jim Kwik is that although he gives you techniques, he gives you that kind of idea about having the right mindset in the first place to want to get better. And he talks very much about, well, he kind of reflects really a lot. There's lots of written about growth mindsets. And a growth mindset is someone who wants to improve, understands that they actually can improve as well. And he talked about having obviously a limitless level of improvement. But what he alludes to also, which links to the growth mindset, is very much about you've got to put some effort into this. You can't just read a book and suddenly you're going to have a memory of and go and card count and win loads of money in Vegas. You're going to have to put some effort into practice, aren't you? And you've got to put effort in. You've got to challenge yourself, because challenging yourself so important in terms of, it's like that we've discussed this before, I think, about if you want to improve your muscles, you have to challenge your muscle, break them down, rest, and then they will grow bigger. Well, that's the same with everything in life. Challenge yourself to actually improve. You've got to be prepared to make mistakes, though, because actually no one can try something new and be perfect. So you've got to accept that you're going to make mistakes. And finally, you've got to accept feedback. And he kind of talks about all that. I like it in a way which is really easy to follow. So hopefully I will get to a stage where, like you've done, I'll be able to remember things better Because actually, with age, remembering things ain't that easy.
Well, we talked about Gavin. We spoke earlier about one of the techniques that he used, and I said fast, and you said what?
Oh, faster.
You said faster. And
Yeah.
so, if you were to go and use just Jim Quick's real quick, uh, uh, actually technique that he's using is a way of saying fast, and he's using every letter in the word fast and faster, being the F standing for forget what you already know. F stands for forget. Forget what you already know. What other things did he say? Forget what?
Unimportant things or less important things.
Forget what's less important. Forget those things that aren't really pertinent to the whatever you're trying to learn. But then the main thing was forget what you already know about it, so that you open your mind to that growth mindset Gavin was talking about, and be willing to learn. Second letter in there was A, and that's being active. And Gavin just talked about being active. If you want to run a marathon, you can't just wake up tomorrow and just get out there and run. You have to start training. You have to be active. You have to start you first have to have that desire that you want to do it, and then you have to start being active into it. So if you want to learn something, or if you want to self-improve, then you have to be active about it. It's not a spectator sport. You don't just wake up in the morning and just be the next Gavin Wong. You know, it takes time and practice to get to
many years. That takes many
years. So the A stands for active. And you also said what, achieve, or what did you say?
Active, but take action, essentially.
Action. Okay. Yep. And that's basically the same thing. And he was just talking about that, where, you got to have that desire to want to do it. And then once you have that desire, you got to start taking steps towards it. Yeah. And then that S stands for your state of mind, your stance that you're in right now. And the state is using Henry Ford's, as Jim Quick always uses Henry Ford's statement of, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. And basically, with that being said, it's basically, that's it. If you believe that you can do something, if you believe that you can achieve it, then you can achieve it. And you'll start doing the things that you taking the action steps that you need to get there. Forget what you already know about it. Take those action steps, believe that you can, and you'll start making strides towards improving and getting to that goal. What do you have to add for action?
Well, I like the state of mind, but I was just going back to the forget what you already know. I think that is massive. That is massive, particularly for people that are leading or senior leaders in organizations. Because there's always this desire to believing they have to know all the answers. Okay, because they feel senior and people look up to them, they think they need to know the answers. But life's not like that. In the environments we work are too complicated or too complex. Therefore, actually being humble and humble enough to, or having the humility to say, actually, I don't know all the answers and I forget everything that I already know, they're going to learn more from the people working for them. And actually be more open and be better problem solvers, be better at dealing with issues that have come up and haven't been dealt with before. So I think that's, for me, that's massive. And then just moving on for the fast, the T, which I like, you told me about this, was the teach someone else.
Yes,
that is brilliant. I love that, because actually, in a sense, that's what we do as a living. But essentially, if you learn something well enough to teach somebody else, you learn it better.
Yes.
And it seems so simple, but it's a massive, massive thing, I think.
Right. But continue on. Don't just stop with the T, since you have the faster, you have E and R to talk about.
Yeah, because I think he may have updated it, but the E stands for enter a schedule in your diary. So if you want to learn something or doing something, well, actually, we do more things if we have it diarized. So actually, just put it in your diary that at 8 o'clock tonight, which I have tonight, 8 o'clock tonight, I'll be reading his book again. Okay. Because what I did last night, I did it when I was in bed, and which is fine. But the problem was that I wasn't able to take notes.
We don't want to hear about when you're in bed.
That's right. As I was just nodding off. But actually, I wasn't prepared to. I wasn't able to take notes, and actually, I wasn't being able to learn as effectively as I should be able to, by following his approach. So what I've diarised today is at 8 o'clock, I'll be reading the next chapter taking notes, only working for 25 minutes. He talks about doing things in 25 minutes.
Right.
And then that'll be better for me. And then the R, he puts the R is kind of review what you're doing, because you don't know if you're going on the right track. So a lot of that makes so much, like a lot of good things in this world, logical things kind of play out, don't they?
So have you used any of these techniques in any of your trainings here lately?
A little bit, and partly because you tested me one day about the learning the 20 words.
Okay. We're not going to talk about the 20 words today, but yes, you use that.
But it is a good one, because actually you help people. It's quite a good. Sometimes you get a bit of a lull in your training, on a kind of perk people up a bit. I go through that. It's quite a good little exercise, and
Yes,
but really good actually in terms of just thinking about those associations, about how to remember things better. A very simple exercise, but really quite powerful.
But the key to that, the key to any of these lessons, and the key to FAST is getting the mindset, changing the mindset, because it's a lot of times when people think that they can do something, but they don't know how to start, or they don't know where to start.
Yes.
And just by having learning these techniques, you start saying, okay, then I don't have to be excellent. I don't have to be the best at it. Like you said, you got to be willing to make mistakes. And a good example of that, I'm also reading the book Start With Why. I've actually read the book Start With Why about 3 or 4 times, but I'm going over it again. And I loved one of the parts of that book. It talks about the flying trapeze, the person on the flying trapeze. He has to have that trust. In order for him to be improved and to make better, he has to have that trust. He has that trust net, which is below him, that allows him to go further, to try a new thing, to go. And so he has that trust of the net. Now, if the attempt that he's trying to make is too difficult, he's probably going to use that net throughout the whole, anytime he does the performance. He's not just going to go out there without a net, because that gives him that added security, that trust that he has. And we can find that within our own organization. It's just having that trust. When you have that trust with your employees, or with your subordinates, or your people above you, then have that safety net where you can make a mistake, but yet you're not going to die from it. You're going to fall to a safety net. And a lot of times we'll work in organizations is having that safety nets, and Small World Solutions, and we can help you do that.
Well, just before you sum up, that's a really good one, because I think we should talk about this next time, because I will replace the word trust with reliable. And I'll tell you why about that next time, because actually the core of trust is reliability.
All right. So our next episode will be called what?
Reliability.
No.
Give me you come up with something. It's about how to improve trust.
How to improve trust. Okay. Yeah. Trust or reliability. We'll figure it out. And you join us next week. Join us next week for our next episode of Workplace Wizards. But for now, we're going to say goodbye. And if you want to contact us to get any trainings or any information that you need, please check us out on. You can send us an email at asmalley@smallworldsolutions.net, or you can call us at 754-971-7007. Gavin, why are you looking like that? Like you're just hoping I make a mistake?
We did, didn't you? But it's okay to make mistakes, because we embrace them.
Because I have that safety net.
Yeah, that safety net.
All right. Bye for now, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So I'm going